Big salute to all the veterans. It's unfortunate that veterans don't all have Veterans Day off. It truly is unfortunate. That's my America. My America, I would have every veteran not have to work. Fully paid, not have to work on Veterans Day. What's the point of the day if you, if they're working and for subpar wages? But big salute to all the veterans out there. Everybody who's still serving, everybody who has served. Big ups to my family. Big up to my in-laws. Big salute. It just sucks that veterans are working today. Yo, thank you, Groot. I gotta bleach it or do something with it. I don't know. Good to see you, Groot. We're gonna talk about how the Taliban is not only mocking America after the election, but now they're like, hey, we want to restore relations with you guys. Interesting. And then I linked a couple of news articles talking about how J.D. Vance said America would withhold from NATO if the European Union tries to regulate Elon Musk's X. Now, the European Union has much better regulations here than here in America, and they give Elon Musk a hard time about all the disinformation, all the easily provable false things, and he's heavily regulated in the EU. And now our vice president is saying that they would use NATO as leverage to not have Twitter, Elon Musk's Twitter, to be so regulated. I don't know. Is that what you guys voted for? I didn't vote for that shit. I didn't vote for Trump, but I didn't vote to have our government be used as leverage to not have X be regulated, have it be a neo-Nazi site. It's Thor. Oh, me? I do not look like Thor, but thank you. That was very kind of you. Groot, always good to have you up in the comments. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm Rob. I go live every weekday, even on holidays, even when I'm sick, like a couple weeks ago. I do a live news commentary show. Newsmentary, that's what I call it. So hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're not only going to talk about how the vice president is now saying that they're going to leverage the U.S. government's full force to not regulate Elon Musk's Twitter in the European Union, but free speech is for sure what I voted for. It's what I serve for, too. If you voted for Trump, it's not really free speech, and that's like, I don't know if it's a troll or what, but I don't know if you're on Twitter. There's not free speech. It's if I don't like your speech, you don't get to say it, and that's been demonstrated many times. So it's not free speech. Free speech is about hearing things you don't like and enduring it. And Elon Musk and Trump are not dudes that do that. So I feel bad that you believe anything of what Elon or Trump talk about being free speech. I mean, just go to any of Trump's rallies. If you disagree or criticize him, the man he talks about, firing, wanting so many heinous things if you critique him. That's not free speech. Hate to break that to you. But, everybody needs a lesson what free speech is. Free speech isn't that if I don't like something, I don't want to hear it. That's not it. Listen to George Carlin, folks. The other thing that's scary is they're talking about, how there's been a bunch of E. coli outbreaks? There was just a huge one at McDonald's after the Trumpster went and made some fries. The Quarter Pounders, their onions had E. coli. Huge outbreak. People died. Well, now that Trump is going to hand off to people who just value their feelings over facts, RFK has said, he wants to decimate the Food and Drug Administration. He wants to do all these things, which we'll see how far they get. But just be prepared, because regulation is what keeps us from having E. coli outbreaks. Regulation in industry is what, makes the standards. And removing those things and not having an orchestrated response when there is an outbreak could be devastating. I mean, the last thing I want to do is die from dysentery. But if Trump puts RFK in charge, he talks about how he's anti-vaccine, which fucking dummy. The reason we don't have kids growing up getting polio is because of vaccines. But all this shit is gonna, and it's not based on science either. This is based on rich guys' feelings. Kevin is subscribed, of course he is. Twitter is completely free. No, he took more than a $20 billion loss, and it is free. I'm not talking about paying, although if you want to talk about paying, Grant, he does, if you pay, your speech is elevated and seen more than other people. So it's technically not free speech. But what I'm talking about is not whether or not you have to pay to be on Twitter, which Twitter was freer before, because now you can't, unless you have an account, you can't see what's on the app. Go to Twitter right now and try to look up something. It will tell you have to log in. So before, when it was run, you could at least see things and not be a part of it. Now he's totally taken that away. But it's not about whether you pay or not. The free speech part is about if he doesn't like something, he silences you. That's not free speech, and that's what's going on. I'm on Twitter. In fact, he's put me in timeout a couple, or one major time, because he didn't like things that I was saying. So it's not free speech. This isn't an argument. That's the thing. You think it's an argument, Grant, but it's not. Just look up what free speech is. I highly, because if you say you're serving for it, you should know what you're serving for. And it's not. But again, back to Trump and who he's going to implement. Elon Musk gets tons of subsidies from the government and wants to do a government efficiency, I don't know what you call it, evaluation, audit, or whatever. But do you think he's going to take away the subsidies that Tesla and SpaceX get? No. He's going to cut food stamps and shit like that. He's going to hurt the poorest, the most vulnerable people. Just like RFK. You think that wealthy ass isn't vaccinated? You think he didn't get the MMR, measles, mumps, rubella? That motherfucker ain't got measles. He ain't got mumps because he probably got vaccinated when he was little. But here we are at the helm of people who just want to value how they feel. Nothing else. It's just how they feel. And the worst part is a lot of people that are like disassociated from society. Like they grew up so wealthy. He bought Twitter because he noticed he was shadow banned and made sure. That's not why he bought Twitter, Grant. That's, again, a lie. He bought Twitter because he made a joke about buying it for, what was it, $42 and something cent, $4.20. It was a $4.20.69 joke. And then they were like, yeah, we'll do it. And he backed out because he overpaid extremely bad for it. But if you want to believe that that's why he bought Twitter, then why is he shadow banning people he doesn't like now? Why is he muting people or putting bans on people who say things that he disagrees with? If you were saying that's why he bought it, why is he doing that? And that's right now. M. Dot, did you say I need to lose weight? E. coli could... Listen, if you need a diet plan, I'm sure E. coli might work, though it might kill you. So you would be bone thin, literally. And then here's the other news. And again, I link all the articles down below. So once you subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I do go live 5 days a week, and you can join me. You can also read the stuff that I'm putting down below. So all those news stories, everything that I plan on talking about is linked down below. The Taliban, of course. The Taliban had to start popping off, and they had a great a world diss, or a diss on the world stage. They said America isn't ready to put a woman in a leadership role of their powerful country yet. Which is hilarious because it's true. I mean, the Taliban, man, they sure hate their women, and I can't stand them. But damn, that was a fire diss, you know. That was a pretty good roast, Taliban. If you're invited, that joke just got you invited to the roast of the United States, which I'm sure will be coming soon on the stage's platform. Actually, it couldn't happen because if you make fun of Trump or Elon Musk, their panties getting in a bunch real quick. What do you got, sand in your vajayjay? But the Taliban, oddly enough, that they were saying, you know, the United States is not ready to have a woman leader. And if you don't know, the Taliban is much like the South of the United States. They want women to stay at home and not be able to leave their house without a male guardian. And the laws in where the Taliban rule are just fucked. I think they took away school from women again. Basically, women are worse than second-class citizens. It's pretty heinous. And with that being said, in this article that I linked down below, the Taliban are saying they hope to restore relations with the United States. So there you go. Somehow, some fuckers in America will twist this to be a good thing. Just like when Trump was saluting Kim Jong-un's generals. And you got to twist it. You got to bend yourself in some weird shapes where you can make it a good thing. And I'm sure there are people out there that are going to, be at the hest to praise Trump for bringing the Taliban back into the fold, which is fucked. Because what do we spend 20 years at war with them? They treat women so heinously. They run their fucking country. It's worse than a patriarchy. I don't know what misogynist DDD. It's a strictly misogynist patriarchy, which, listen, there's a touch of that here in America, more than a touch. There's a whole groping of that. It can grab us by the misogyny. Since the Dobbs decision as a woman, I am a second-class citizen in America. That is very true. That is very true. And that's why I think the Taliban not only put a shot across the bow saying America ain't ready for a woman to be in charge, but then they followed that up with saying, hey, we are ready to restore some relations with America. I've said this forever, the religious right, and they might hide behind the guise of we love Jesus, we're Christians, which means like Christ followers, but they're not. They're nowhere near that. Because if you look at the story of Christ held very important roles for women. A woman discovered his resurrection, okay? Women played absolutely numero uno fucking roles in the story of Christ. And here in America, especially down south, they treat women like second-class citizens. They're not even letting women control their own bodies. They want to regulate their bodies. Imagine if America tried to regulate a man's body. Imagine if they took away ED pills. Just did that. I think that'd be fucking hilarious. I can't wait for the day. We can 100% agree Taliban is bad news, though. But we can't fight endless. Listen, I'm not for wars. If people have no will to change it. We tried to stand up. The Afghan government had no will to fight the Taliban. Yeah, and I also think, listen, when you go to war with them, just like with Hamas, you go to war, you don't end up making, a bunch of fucking Democratic politicians. You make a lot of Taliban soldiers when they see their places get decimated. You want to, just look at Star Wars, okay? People, pay attention. Watch Star Wars. When the Empire started crushing the Resistance, what happened? It fucking grew, and the Resistance became the cool thing. I think that happens anywhere. I think that's a good life lesson. I think George Lucas fucking probably was watching shit that was going on in real life and modeled that after it, When you try to crush these rebellions and you come in like an empire, you're going to make more freedom fighters. And I don't mean the people trying to free them of oppression. I mean the people who are like, fuck this noise, I'm going to go join, the local tribes that are fighting against this empire coming in here, because we're also, getting oil, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, Grant, Taliban is not good news. My biggest gripe with this whole shit is like, if they're seeing eye to eye with how we view women, fucking America, we got to look in the mirror, man. That's sad, that the Taliban's like, yo, America, you and I got something in common. We both ain't wanting the women to lead. And that's what read this article. It's fucking crazy. I'll bring up the verses. Macan plays pendulum swings. It bring up the verses? I don't know what that means, sorry. Trying to see who else is in here. All right. So those are the articles that I wanted to talk about today. There's so much political stuff, and listen, I'll say it again, man. It's a bummer, because you would think, we're I don't want to say more advanced, but more industrialized, so we would have a little more, I don't know, a little more progress than the Taliban. Like, think about that, folks. Think about that. Of what you know and what you don't know of the Taliban, how the Taliban wants to live things. I've always said this about the religious right. Again, that's how I say it. About the people who claim to follow Christ and the Taliban. The Taliban runs a Sharia law state. That's religious rule. The laws are religion. And here the right want the laws to be religion. The right don't want women to make choices about their body. They were getting all pissed off when they were thinking women were voting differently than their husbands said they could, which is just a fucking tapped mentality and thing happening. But I wonder if these alt-right Christians, these faux Jesus followers, these Joel Osteenians, these fucking thieves, this den of vipers, if they understand that they're just trying to create the American Taliban. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to run, but not Sharia law, but Old Testament law. Or whatever. They cite Leviticus and all that bullshit, which, if you know anything about Jesus, he said, man, I came to fulfill the law. You are good. You don't need to do that shit no more. And it's frustrating. McCone plays. In the Bible, it says women shouldn't have authority over men. Jesus is king. When did Jesus say that? Because Jesus didn't say that. I read the Bible every day. And in fact, if you read Jesus' story, he put women in some of the most vital roles throughout his story. I highly encourage you to read it back. And listen, I love Jesus. I love that motherfucker. That's my homie right there. Greatest human to walk on earth. The most radical. But if you don't understand that Jesus was a pacifist who was anti-establishment and a radical and a revolutionary, then you're not reading the same story. Republican House, Senate, and presidency, majority vote 2. People have spoken, tired of far-left agenda. There is no far-left agenda, Grant. That's the misconception. We have Republicans and Republicans light. I think the racism and the fucking misogyny was a bigger role than people understand. America's got a deep-seated root base in misogyny and racism. And it really played out. And when you consider that, 14 million people less voted for Kamala than Biden. When you consider Trump even got, 3 million less votes than last time when he lost. I mean, there's so many factors in it. But Grant, there is no true progressive party. They are all corporate entities. They are all corporate puppets. The Republicans and the Republican light or diet Republicans. There is no far left. And when you say, oh, we're just too tired, the people have spoken, tired of far left agenda. True far left agenda is stuff that FDR did, implementing the minimum wage, Social Security, fucking roadways, rebuilding infrastructure. That is a truly progressive Medicare for all. I mean, listen, Grant, if you're truly tired of that and Trump's concepts of a health plan take away the pre-existing conditions, and you or somebody you love, like people I love, have pre-existing conditions, and now insurance companies can tell them, oh, well, we're not going to treat you because that's a pre-existing condition, and Trump got rid of us having to fucking give you health care for that, and people start to die, my God, I hope it fucking doesn't happen to you, and I truly mean that. I only hope for the best. But to say that, people are tired of far left, just give me some examples of what the far left policies are. Truly. I'd like to know, because we don't have any far left policies in America. We did at one point when FDR got fucking elected 4 times in a row, and they were like, all right. Big money. I didn't say Jesus said it. I know you didn't, and that's my point. Jesus didn't say that. Yes, women play vital roles in Jesus' story, but they shouldn't have authority over men. Well, you and I are going to disagree. I would like to know if you think Mary had authority over Jesus when he was growing up. Or you think he was just a God baby, raised himself out that manger. I don't need to look shit up, Macone. I read the Bible every day, Hobie. I study it, I go deep into it, and I also understand the heavily edited misogynistic tones that people like the fucking Pope, which is just the new Roman Empire, I don't believe in none of that shit, did to edit the Bible to take power away from women. Gender neutral bathrooms a little out there. Well, we've had those for a long time. When people get mad at gender neutral bathrooms, I always say, have you ever seen a family bathroom? Because it's the same fucking thing. And I use those all the time. Not just, I mean, I've used the women's bathroom when the guys, there are guys that will like poop in the bathroom and take an hour, and I just have to pee and I can't go outside. America has laws where I can't go outside to pee. So I'll say, hey, could I just use the women's bathroom? I'll lock the door. I have no problem with that shit. For me, it's like, you understand when we were coming up in civilization, or if you've been to the UK, like even guys' bathrooms in the UK is just one long drain. So everybody's just standing together. It's more communal than you would think, or that it was okay for me. And it's not the government's role to provide that. That's the whole point of government, Grant. The whole point of what do you think the point of government is? Just to, you're in the military, right? So is the government just to provide a military? The government is here to provide services for its citizens. The government is here to represent its people, or at least in America. That's the whole thing. And there are 32 out of 33 industrialized nations in the world that have figured out universal health care. I mean, what do you then, Grant, what fuck the mess overspending and government program handout? Oh, so you're just one of these that are bought into the alt-right shit. You believe that there's welfare queens. Listen, as somebody who's been on welfare, let me tell you, you're not living like a king or a queen. In fact, you're just trying to fucking pull yourself up to survive. And to think that government handouts are what's ruining this country, and it's not billions of subsidies to fucking Elon Musk, the wealthiest man in the world, whew, we're going to disagree on a lot. God is not pleased at what is going on. Miss D, I didn't know you could fucking speak for God. One is for family, parents, and needs to assist their kids. The other is for people who can't figure out what's between their legs. Oh, man, you guys. McCone, do you know what Jesus said? Besides, do not fear. That's what he said the most. But he said, don't judge. It's a lot of F spending on both sides. I'd agree. I just think the people who need the most help aren't the ones fucking ruining the system, okay? And I just implore you to just go dig through the history. Just go dig through our history, man. When the economy is the best is when the people are doing the best. Not when the wealthiest are getting more handouts than the fucking person trying to just afford rent and heat. Like, we need to use common sense, people. We need to critically think, not just repeat. All I've heard from Grant, and, you know, no meaning to shit on you, but all I've heard is, like, spouted fucking points from, like, Fox News. Like, I haven't heard you critically think about any of this shit or cite in history, or I don't know. It just seems like these fucking it seems like I'm hearing, like, Elon Musk tweeting at me. And it's just exhausting. Because you couldn't look shit up now. We got the internet. Back when I was growing up, I wasn't that smart because we had to go find an Encyclopedia Britannica or fucking go to the library. You had to know somebody who had the wisdom. Now you got the internet. You got to be discerning with that, but shit. The wealthy are the welfare queens. That is correct. And McCone, I would just encourage you, man, to go reread the story of Jesus and the lady who got caught for adultery when they were all ready to stone her. And he drew something in the sand and he said, whoever is without sin cast the first stone. And all you heard was a lot of fucking rocks dropping, because Jesus doesn't tell you to go and fucking judge everybody else. What does he say? Love your neighbor. Who's your neighbor? Everyone. Go read the story of the Good Samaritan. Go read or go listen to Martin Luther King. You can download Martin Luther King on Apple Music. Go listen to Martin Luther King's speech on the Good Samaritan. It's so moving and it's so smart and it's so brilliant. But I don't think we're supposed to be here to judge people. I think we're supposed to be here to love and support one another. People who are efficient save us money in the long run, earn that money. You think Elon Musk is efficient? How do you think his Boring Company is doing? Do you know what that is? If you think he's efficient. How many rockets does he launch a year? Do you think that's efficient? You should look up people who worked at NASA and why they say SpaceX is able to do what it can do. Because at NASA, with the government, you have to be efficient. You can't just keep fucking shooting rockets up into space, letting shit explode. He's the opposite efficient. Go listen to his comments on the Cybertruck. He said we dug our own grave with that one. Got put in time out because I was right. That's crazy. No joke. You're a good egg with an old soul. The oldest soul. I'll lay claim to that. The oldest soul. Who's gonna challenge me? No joke. I don't know. I put people in timeout when they keep spamming the chat. So were you spamming the chat? Chump, Trump, chump, chump, chump. 2024, chump, chump, chump. Because here's the thing. I said this the other day on the live. I don't give a shit about people being right. What I want is people to be safe, prosperous, healthy, educated. To me, this isn't team sports. This is not team sports. It's not, did red or blue win? I don't give a shit. Because that's what they want you to think. We won. Everything's good. Now go back to your job and don't pay attention to why you're losing your fucking paid sick time. Don't pay any attention. Don't talk politics. Don't critically think. It's not team sports, man. It's about how our communities are doing. You know, I love those baby blues. Oh, you got to thank my mama for those. My mom would say, I gave him those. Because my dad is from, I'm not telling you where my dad is from. But my dad is black, jet black hair and brown eyes. So my mom would always be very proud of that. And if you see my mom's family in Brooklyn, they're very, very Irish. So they all look the same. Just with different haircuts. That's how Irish they are. It is so true. And listen, I love you. If any of my family's watching, they're tough sons of bitches. So I'm not making fun of anyone. I love you guys. I just think it's funny. And you're all beautiful. You're all beautiful. Different haircuts. Jesus, now I'm going to get in trouble with my family. Look what you guys are doing. All right. I got to biz out. But hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Please do some reading. We Irish are rather pink. We are. But I tan up good because of my dad's side of the family. But listen, I got to split. I love you all. I only wish for the best. This isn't team sports. Yeah, me too, CJ. Me too. I only wish for the best for our communities. I don't give shit. Pink, blue, green, rainbow, fucking translucent, silver, gold toilet. Trump. He should have run on the gold toilet party. If you don't know, he had a gold toilet and bragged about it a lot in the 90s. I don't care who the fuck's in charge. What I want is them to actually represent the people. That's all I care about. I want our communities to do better. Have a good one, G-Ma. Good to see you. CJ Dewey, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm going to try to find something else, but this is just important stuff, and that's why I link these articles down below, because people just need to read, man. Just read some stuff. Read, folks. It's so healthy for you. I'm reading here. I'll show you real quick. I'm almost done with this. This is all of Neville Goddard's books. And then these are the two books I'm reading. This is an original 1972. I'm very proud of this one. Some lady in California sold it to me on eBay for way less than it's going for. It's like $50 for an original pressing. And then I'm reading this one at the same time. So just some books. Yes, I carry 3 books with me. Jesus, don't make fun of me. That's how ADD, my wife would say. He's so ADD and he doesn't even know it. All right, love you. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Join our Discord if you want to stay with it with the books and recommend books. We have a little book club in there too. So I thank you guys for joining me again. Salute to all the veterans. Whether we agree or disagree on our thoughts and our discussions, the important thing is we can have a discussion. For right now, fuck. Soon it will be, if I don't like what you say, you know, who knows what will happen. But for right now, we can have these discussions, and that's very important. So what was it, Grant? Grant B, I appreciate you having the discussion with me in here. And McCone plays. And Miss D. Everybody who stopped by. And to all the people you are arguing with, don't read. I don't know if they read or not. You could always be reading the wrong shit too. Listen, I spent a good long time reading the wrong things. So you got to read the right stuff. All right, guys. Thank you so much for... Grant, salute. Salute to you for talking. Grant, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, man. And salute to you for serving in the military, man. I got a lot of family that did too, and that's hard. My biggest gripe is that people that served in the military are fucking working today. I worked with a veteran today, and she's underpaid, and she was, you know, older. I think once you serve in the military, that's it. You get a fucking house. There's 26 empty homes for every American citizen. I said, once you serve in the military, you get a house, you get fucking set up, you get all these days off, because what kind of shit is that, man? Veterans Day and all veterans don't have it off, fully paid? See, that's the shit that really bugs me. you know? It's so hollow. But Grant, please, because we need more people like you who can come in and have a discussion, man. You know, what drives me nuts is people that just spam the trap. But you're talking to me, man, and I got a lot of respect for that, because that's what we need to keep doing. We need to keep pushing forward and having progressive discussions. You know, I'm not always right. I have my point of views. That's why this is Newsman Terry, heavy on the commentary, heavy on the comedy, hopefully. But Grant, it's a very important thing that we do, that we talk. Fucking, because what's the point of free speech? You say you love free speech, I say I love free speech. And what's the point of free speech if fucking we're not utilizing it, we're not critically thinking? So thank you, Grant. I think I said subscribe and the notification bell. That way you get notified when I go live. Thanks so much. Peace.